Hey guys, welcome back to the Edit Place, and today we're talking about how to get a realistic semi-anamorphic look. And no, before you click away, this is not like the million other tutorials out there about how to create a anamorphic look and fool a bunch of people. This is going to be a very subtle look that is going to make people guess, like, was this anamorphic? Even with these techniques, it may not end up looking like anamorphic on your footage, but it's going to add a certain character to your footage that is very unique and unlike anything else. And the beautiful thing is, if you have DaVinci Resolve, you have all of this stuff. And so let's take a look at this footage. This was taken from my main channel, how to make videos like Ash Taylor. In his videos, he always has beautiful character lenses. He's always shooting like vintage, and he's just, whatever he's doing to his videos, it looks so good. And so when I was doing my series of how to make videos like him, I wanted to make sure that my footage had some sort of character and not just a straight like digital look to it. And so without intending to necessarily go for an anamorphic look, I got a couple comments from people saying like, looks like someone picked up a 50mm anamorphic lens. And I was like, well, thank you. Now hopping onto the computer here, you can see this is what the final image looked like on one of the clips. And you can see that I did quite a bit of work to it. If I go to a clip that I've kind of prepared here, and I don't look, oh God, it's always hard to find a face that doesn't look weird to stare at. So you can see I've turned off all of the different grades here, and just so we can run through a quick step-by-step, these are all the ways how I got to this look. And this is what I'm always talking about, that even if you have a really cool LUT, it is not a one-click solution to getting a final image. I didn't go from raw footage to this in one click, and neither are you. We got the base node here, add in a little bit of curves, add some hue saturation primaries, I believe that is, add some more curves, we're adding a mask, we're adding another mask, which brings in back in some skin tones, we're adding in a key here, just more general color correction, we're adding in a vignette. This one is aperture diffraction. This is lens reflections, this is grain, and these are some basic primary final adjustments or things. So that's how we got there. Now where the big focus of this video is in this final section here. So I'm going to delete these, and this is where we're kind of at now. So this is a basic grade. You may not have to do all this, but now is to add in some of that character. So I'm going to add a new node here, and then I'm going to open my open effects panel, which is going to be near the top right here. So you're going to open that guy up, and then we are going to look for a handful of stuff here. The first one is going to be aperture diffraction. It's like the third or fourth section down under Resolve FX Lite, aperture diffraction. Pop that puppy on there, and then zoom out. You can see that I now have a star effect. Boom, done, export. This is finished. So this one can get crazy. What aperture diffraction does is it looks for different light sources, and then it kind of grabs that and adds a really big glow. So this is fantastic if you're filming someone, say indoors, and the window is like blown out and it's just ugly. Your camera doesn't have that great of dynamic range, and it just looks so harsh going from like a nice interior to like a window or a door just being so pure white and blown out. Add a little bit of aperture diffraction, and it's going to soften the edges, and it's going to make it look kind of like old film, or again, it's just going to add character. So definitely play around with that. And what I did is change the aperture size. So that's what's all the way to the right. It's going to make it look like a really closed down aperture, like an f30 or something. And then the more you bring it up, the more it's going to look like a softer image, like an f2 or something. And then I basically go down here to the compositing, and I'm basically going to lower the brightness until I think it is not necessarily believable, but just where I want it. And then you can add colors. So you'll notice that if I brighten it up, it's basically taking on the color of the light source, which sometimes, a lot of time, is very nice. But I'm going to keep it at this extreme level for a second. I can go over to colorize, and if I slide it all the way to the right, you can see that it's now pure white, or I can change it to some funky color. I could go like pink or something. Take away colorize because I want it to be using the light sources. I'm going to bring it up just about there. Even that may be a bit much. And it's so subtle. If I turn off this node real quick, you can see it. It adds a little bit of almost atmosphere over my eyes and in the background over the monitor. It's just the little details, people. Like, everyone's obsessed over like the big LUT changes and stuff, and I love this stuff. Then we're gonna add a new node here, and I think this is where I really fooled people with the whole anamorphic thing. Basically, under the same section underneath aperture diffraction is lens reflections. Pop that on there. Boom! Now again, this is looking pretty gnarly. We even have a slider over here for anamorphism. If I take that all the way to the right, you can see that it's starting to create those anamorphic type light things. Now, here is the awesome part, is again, these are looking at your specific light sources. So I've had assets that are like MOV files that you throw on top of footage, again, that have those lens flare, those lighting effects. The downside of those is you either need to find a plugin to track them. Tracking them at all is annoying, or else your footage moves, but then those don't move. This is like not baking it into your footage, but it's sourcing it from the actual footage. So as I move around here, you can see that the light reflections are actually adapting to the scene. Now, obviously this is way too harsh. This is like some Michael Bay looking stuff right here. But you can go into each of these different reflections here and simply bring down the brightness. Again, you can change all of the parameters for them. I can go in and I can change the color if I wanted to, make it more pure white. At the bottom, you kind of have a global blend, so that way it's blending all of them in a bit more. If you are shooting something where, like, let's say a client wants a ultra clean look, you are not going to use these open effects filters at all, because this is replicating lenses and camera sensors that have imperfections in them. And the final node that we're going to add in here, just to kind of top it all off and really sell that kind of vintagey vibe here. Forget where it is, so I'm going to search for it. Film grain. So Resolve has amazing film grain things here. I'm going to go from 16 to 35 400T. I like that one. And again, it's so subtle, you probably don't even see it. If I up the grain size, you can start to see it there. I remember I did bring it up a little bit. Really gonna kill my playback is grain, just like noise reduction, little particle effects. Takes a lot of GPU power, so there will be some computers that crash when you start to add these effects. And there you guys have it. That is pretty much the effect. Again, you can go in and play with all the parameters. You know, I just touched upon the actual effects, but really go in, every piece of footage is different. And so you'll find some clips where this like, oh, this looks really bad and fake or something like that. There'll be some clips where you want really punchy and some that you want just a light touch of this stuff. But if you don't have the budgets for renting anamorphics or lenses that look different than everybody else's, I strongly recommend you playing with effects like this. Remember, a little goes a long way. Gonna stop rambling here because I'm about to run out of storage on this 1 terabyte card because I'm filming so many of these videos, which is awesome because I'm super excited about this channel and I hope you guys are too. Don't forget to get subscribed if you're not already, and let me know down in the comments what you want to see. All this week I'm focusing on DaVinci Resolve, but don't worry, I'm not going to ignore Final Cut, Premiere, Avid, and any other editing program out there. So there you guys have it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for visiting the Edit Place.